Hey everyone, and welcome to one more episode of Protecting Wildlife. And today I have Pelf Chen of Turtle Conservation Society of Malaysia. And I'm so grateful for she's here and said yes to be here because she has something beautiful on the heart and share what she really working with. So welcome, Pelf.
Thank you, Tanya. Thank you for having me on the show.
You're most welcome. Can you share a little bit about who you are and a little bit about the organization so that people get to know like a little bit of who you are?
Yes, of course. My name is Pelf and I co-founded Turtle Conservation Society of Malaysia in 2011. So that's 10 years ago. We are 10 years old this year. And in short, we call ourselves TCS. And the reason we co-founded this TCS is to protect and conserve freshwater turtles from becoming extinct. So in Malaysia, there are 18 species of freshwater turtles and tortoises in the country, yes. Yeah, so the whole idea of establishing the organization, the society, is to help protect and conserve these species. Yeah, and how do we do all these things? We conduct research activities to further understand these species. We also have a long-term conservation project where we try to save the species from being eaten because the local people eat the eggs of these turtles. We also used to conduct educational programs. So we used to go to schools, we play with kids, we do a little dancing with them. And we also participated in a public awareness program. Yeah, sometimes we were invited to shopping malls, malls. Haven't been to a mall in a long time.
No.
Sometimes we were invited to go to malls to put up a booth and talk to people about the different turtles. So we are always happy to do that. Yeah, and just very recently, 2 years ago, we initiated a community empowerment program with the local women. Yeah, we can talk a little bit more about this later. Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing. What is the 3 biggest threats you're facing in your work?
3 biggest threats, we face a lot of threats. But I would say it is the number 1, a lack of funding, because we are a non-profit organization. We are a non-governmental organization. So we do not receive government support, financial support. Yeah, so the first challenge, difficulty is this, that we have to raise sufficient funding to ensure that our operations can go on, so that we are able to pay salaries, so that we are able to execute the projects that we want to execute, the things we want to do. So that's the first. The second, I would say, a lack of resources. And resources could mean manpower, the number of people doing the job on the ground. Resources could also mean time, expertise, and because right now we are in the middle of a pandemic, we are unable to meet with stakeholders physically, in person physically. So sometimes Zoom meetings, they don't quite achieve the objectives of the meetings. So yeah, coming together to work to save a species or to save a habitat or to save the environment requires a lot of advocacy work, requires a lot of discussion with experts. And these things are not easy to find. And earlier on, I mentioned that we do research projects, right, to help save terrapins, tortoises in the country. It is difficult to find students, undergraduates or graduate students who want to do this work. So it's hard to find manpower, people who want to do it. Yeah.
Why?
So that's
Sorry?
I have no idea. Perhaps it is not a glamorous career, or perhaps they could see that this isn't something that makes you rich fast, because this is not a money-making scheme, right?
No.
Yeah, it takes a lot of passion, it takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of patience, to see something happen over 20 years. Yeah. So it's not a fast-paced industry, for example, banking, finance, it's different. Yeah, so that's the second challenge that I have faced in the almost 20 years of me being involved in this field. It's difficult to find people, resources, expertise. Yeah, it's tough. Mhm. And the third, I would say, um, sometimes a lack of cooperation from the relevant people. So perhaps later we will talk more about this, but I work with a group of a team of local villagers who eat turtle eggs, because they are local villagers and they have been doing it for so long. It's hard for us to change their habits, right? We cannot just go to their home and start asking them to stop eating this, stop eating that. It doesn't sound right, right? Yeah, so it takes a lot of time and patience to change this behavior. Yeah, and sometimes they do not cooperate with us. And I do not blame them, because that's their, I wouldn't say it's a culture. I would say that that's what they have been doing for so many years, right? And you ask them to change the way they behave, that will take equally long.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So the third challenge I would say is sometimes the lack of cooperation from people who can make this conservation project successful.
Yeah. So the short version of the three biggest threat is like funding, find expert, like find people.
Yes, manpower, resources.
Yeah, manpower, resources, and people that is eating, like
cooperate.
Yeah, eating the operating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
How do we deal with this threat? Like, how do you find a solution on this threat?
I have done this for so long. I have done this for so long. Okay, for example, the first challenge we mentioned earlier, the lack of funding. Since 20 years ago, I have been very involved, very hands-on in securing funding in terms of research grants to support our projects. And in a year, for example, this year, it's just August now, I have submitted, I think, eight project proposals, grant applications, and hoping that one or two of it would be awarded the funds to do the necessary projects. So it comes with practice, these things, bringing in funds and writing a successful winning proposal. They say a winning proposal. It takes a lot of time, and I'm still learning how to do it. Yeah, so I change. Instead of seeing it as a challenge in bringing in funds to support the operations of the society, I take it as a challenge to raise even more funds to support more people on the ground doing this work, to continue paying salaries and to continue paying overheads, office rental, utility bills, internet, telecommunications. Yeah, so that's one of the things that I do. I spend a lot of time thinking about which grant we could apply for, which project that we could find some money for, how many people we could support from this project if we were given the funds.
Yeah, there's a lot of details to think about in them.
Yeah, so I have a book, I have like a journal. I write these things. Yeah, I have to write it out because I'm a very visual person. I have a book, I write all this down, right? I sketch everything, and then I can see the bigger picture. And then cost calculation, budget tables. These are things that you don't just catch a number from thin air, right? Yeah, there must be a reason why you apply for this money, this amount.
True.
Yeah, and it cannot be ridiculous, right? Otherwise, people don't fund you. Yeah, it's a lot of balancing here and looking for the right donors whose objectives and our objectives are the same. And then it makes the process smoother, easier, more enjoyable. Yeah. Well, that's one. Then I mentioned the lack of resources. Yeah, I have also turned to collaborations with different parties. We cannot do everything ourselves. We do not have time to do everything ourselves. So we work quite closely together with universities because they have functional laboratories, functional labs. Non-profit organizations, we don't have a lab. You know, we have to pay people to do run lab tests, right? So we work with lecturers, professors in the university so that we could share the data and share the writing and share the workload, so that we don't feel like we are the only one doing it. It's like, you know, very heavy on my shoulders. Yeah. Sometimes you also get help from students. Yeah, for example, if we do not have sufficient manpower to raise funds, right? Because fundraising is such a tough thing to tackle. We have had students who contacted us and they told us that they would like to help us raise funds. I just said, of course, why not, right? And then they went on to run their own campaigns on social media. Yeah, and each time the students conclude their fundraising campaign, they donate the money that was raised to our society.
Oh,
yeah,
amazing.
so we could do more with such collaborations with students. Yeah, so that's winning as well. And then we also talk about lack of cooperation from the people who don't see yet the importance of saving freshwater turtles from becoming extinct. This one is even more tough. This one requires us to spend a lot of time building relationships with them. This is not touch and go, right? This is this is us going into a community, becoming friends with them, becoming family with them. And then from there, we talk about working on projects together. Yeah, because these are local villagers who have lived in the community for so long, right? And most of them are odd job workers, for example. Yeah, most of them, they don't earn a lot of money. So most of them, they are constantly thinking about how to put food on their table. Yeah, so we cannot just go into a community and demand that they do this and they do that for us, right? We need to speak with them at a level that they are at. Yeah, only when we are there speaking to each other, then we can talk about working more closely together. But our conservation project in the local communities, every time we needed help, for example, gathering eggs, the turtle eggs for incubation, we pay these local villagers. So it is like employment. It is a form of employment. Yeah, nobody should work for free, right? Yeah, so that's what we try to do. Each time we require any form of help from the local villagers, we ask them for help and we let them earn the money.
Amazing.
Yeah, so then they feel that they are empowered to do it. We're not making a donation to them. Nobody wants to be donated to, right? Yeah, so we employ them on a part-time basis to do the job. Yeah, then they do it more happily.
Yeah, that is amazing. Also to empower them, include them in the work instead of like give me something so they couldn't like get the feeling. So it's like in actions. So it's also like getting stronger in the mindset to think differently about life choices.
Yes, and when we hire or when we work with the local the adults in the local communities, their children will also see what their father is doing. Yeah, they see that their father is helping conservation. Yeah, we'll talk about the women empowerment later. They will also see that their mothers are also doing something to spread awareness on turtle conservation. Yeah, so they will see with their own eyes, and hopefully they grow up to be a conservationist or somebody in the local governments who can make decisions on behalf of the environment or wildlife. Yeah, that's what we want to.
I really believe that if the mom or dad show a good example of themselves, like a good role model to think about things in life, the kid is what you call it, the brain is making pattern. I cannot remember the English word, making like pattern in the brain sorry?
Yes, they will see it and they will model their parents.
Exactly, model, because the right way model the parents, and when they grow up, the brain remember what to do.
My father used to do this.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Oh, my mom used to do that. Yeah. I
So
remember growing up, my mom used to do this. Yeah, like that.
I wouldn't believe that. So beautiful. And it's take time. It's take time and also experience with other things to change new habit. It takes at least 3 months, and you need to like practice that every day to change the habit. Like in the brain it take time.
Yep.
To
Yep.
make it happen.
I have taken 10 years of my life to do this, you know, to be friends first with the local villagers and then family. And then right now we are like business partners, you know, we work together towards an objective. And the objective
Amazing.
is for them to be financially independent. And
Yeah.
for me, the objective is for us to continue raising funds, continue spreading awareness on turtle conservation. So, you know, from strangers, we are now business partners.
Yeah. I love that. More like working as a unit instead of like be very close organizations. We more like open the door and say, we need you to change this. Yeah. I love that.
Yes, yes, yeah. And of course, we let them choose. We give them a choice to do this or not, right? So we're not forcing all the ladies in the local community to work with us. Yeah, so we are saying there is this opportunity now, and if you can, if you want to, if you have the interest to do this, then let's work together.
I love that. Be more be a inspiration motivator, give them some strategy, and they put the choice on them, so they have the choice to make instead of like forcing them to. I love that.
Yeah,
I love that. So you have talked about a little bit about it. So what tools do you use to be successful in that process to achieve the goal to change that the threat?
Sorry?
So how specific, like how tools do you use successful, like to change the threat? What's the biggest tools have been in the solutions in the successful process?
What tools? You're asking me
exactly.
what tools that I need, yeah?
What tools do you use to change the threat in the field? So what tools do you use? Like you are open the door to the public to like giving them solution, giving some tools to them to change the habits. There's like a solution you do. So what solution do you also use in the process to find the funding to the organizations?
Right, okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, roughly, right. Yes. Yeah. So I depend okay, let's talk about the local villagers first.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's do that.
Yeah. So the local villagers, like I mentioned just now, we gave them a choice. Do you want to help with us? You know, do you want to work with us to help save these freshwater turtles from becoming extinct? If you want to help them, then you work with us. If you do not want to, that's fine, because a no isn't a no. A no just means not yet. Right? I can ask you again next year. I can ask you again next year. I can ask you again 5 years down the road. Yeah. So hopefully one of these years you say yes. Okay. So we provide the opportunity, and we also provide what I would call wages. We pay them. You know, we give them money in return for the work that they help us to do. Then it will not feel like any party is taking advantage of another party. Do you want to help me do this? It's free, you know? No. So once we work together with the local villagers, it is not for free. Yeah. So then they begin earning some pocket money from us. And if they want to continue doing this, then that would be great, right? They can earn pocket money to, for example, pay water bills, electricity bills, or phone bills. So that would be most helpful, right? First, we give them a choice, and then we give them a wages, like an allowance, so that they can continue doing it. And number three, I believe that from the years of us being in the community and running this turtle conservation project, we have also successfully brought in a lot of media coverage for the local village. Yeah. So that is not something that you would be able to achieve if there is nothing special in your village or in your community, in your area, right?
Yeah.
But in the years that we have done this, every year we used to host an annual terrapin release where we release these turtles back into the river. So we had a big party, and most of the time the media were invited. Yeah, newspaper or TV stations or radio stations. Yeah, so they would attend these events and they would talk about it, and they would also put us on air on TV, on national TV. So the local villagers, they feel very proud that sometimes they see their own faces on TV.
Oh, I love
There
that.
was one time a little kid, a little child, she asked me, what do I need to do? What does she need to do to get onto TV? To
Oh my
get
God, I love
onto
that.
television. Yeah, she wants to be like me, to be on TV. That's why I told her to study hard. Yeah, but these things being recognized, and being openly shown how other people can model this project, I think it also brings the local villagers pride.
Exactly. And also, I really believe every one of us on the earth, we really have a need or a miss in our life to be recognized, like someone
Yes.
see us for the work we are doing.
Yes.
So
Yes.
create that like a celebration around to release the turtles, and newsletter on the TV is coming. When I get a feeling in me, it's like it's calling on that. So like I want to be seen.
Correct.
I want to also to be a part of this celebration and
Yes.
feel I have done this.
Yes, and because it is a noble thing,
Exactly.
you're helping to save a species, an endangered turtle from becoming extinct. Because these turtles, they are only found in 3 countries in the world.
It's
They are only
crazy.
found in Thailand. They are also found in Cambodia and Malaysia. These are the only 3 countries. So once we lose the wild populations of these turtles, you don't find them in Europe. You don't find them in the US. Yeah, so the more I share these statistics with the local villagers, the more they feel proud that they are a part of something that is so meaningful. Yeah, I think we all want to do meaningful work before we die, right? So that
I believe
hopefully gives them the motivation, to want to do more good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
is.
Also to be a part of something, because we are pack people. We need our pack, and what you're doing is also calling on that instinct in us to be like a part of something bigger in ourselves. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, we might seem, perhaps on the website, we might seem like a small thing, a small team. Yeah, we are a very small team, but I think I want to think that the impacts that we are creating on the ground is a lot larger than what we look like on social media. Yeah, that is my main goal, to create impacts while we are still able to.
Yeah, I love that, like leave our footprints and take memory with our home.
Yep, correct.
I love them. With that knowledge you have now, what guidance do you want to inspire our audience to think about in their lifestyles?
Right, well, in terms of lifestyle changes, I work with turtles, right? Because turtles are the most critically endangered group of animals, of wildlife. Yeah, and what I always tell kids is that, because if kids can do it, you can do it. What I always tell kids is that number one, find out more about these turtle species. Learn about them. There are more than 350 species of freshwater turtles and tortoises in the world. You don't have to learn them by heart, all of them, but learn about turtles that go to your country. Yeah, learn about the turtles that are native to your country. What are the turtles that are originally found in your country? Maybe not as many as 18 species like we find here in Malaysia, but maybe 10, maybe 40 species, right? Learn about those. And then number 2, tell your friends about it. Yeah. Number 3, If they are turtle conservation organizations in your country, support them. Yeah, this is not, I'm not saying you must support turtle conservation organizations. I'm saying if you want to, right? If you are not, keen to support a turtle conservation organization, you can also support a bear organization, right? Or a tiger conservation organization. It doesn't matter. It's the same. Yeah, we are helping save, protect and save wildlife. And number 4, if you are able to make a donation, you financially support them, because most times these, well, apart from the very popular, well-known non-profit organizations in the world, in most countries, we have smaller organizations, and these are like TCS. These are small teams, teams of people who want to do a good impact to the environment, to the wildlife, while working with the local community. So these people do not have a lot of funding. They are not popular, like we are not very popular. Yeah, not everybody knows about us, but you know what? Everybody knows about WWF, right? Yeah, so that is why we need more local people supporting local grassroots conservation efforts. Yeah, other changes in lifestyle would be reduce the use of single-use plastic bags, right? So you contribute less to trash in the ocean or trash in the landfills. Don't buy turtle eggs to eat. Yeah, don't go to restaurants that serve turtle eggs or any exotic wildlife or exotic meat. Yeah, don't go buy tiger fangs. What is it called? Yeah, don't go buy bear biles. Yeah, don't do it.
It's
don't
crazy, like, oh my God.
Yeah, it is. So if all of us can do these little things, it would add up. So many billion of us in the world, it will add up. Yeah.
And to you, audience, you watching this interview, if you go back to your email after this interview, you have seen this. There is a worksheet where the action step is there, so you can make some notes we're talking about and choose one of them. And it's so important to put some commitment on it. So in the commitment, we will be the change. So please choose that. So Pelf, I know before this interview we was talking about the mask, mask we are wearing, the corona. And I think it was an amazing idea. What exactly what you're working on to also sustainable. What do you call, like what is the word? Sustainable
empowerment. Yeah, a sustainable livelihood, sustainable.
For the organizations and the women's, I believe the women's
program.
Can you tell a little bit about that? If it's okay, or if you have planned something else, you're also welcome to share that.
No, I am very happy to talk about this because it is one of my proudest projects. It is not a scientific project, but it's one of my proudest initiatives. So we started this community empowerment program 2 years ago in 2019. And back then, one day I just realized that, hey, we are working with the men because they're collecting these turtle eggs for us to incubate, and then we raise them, and then we release them into the river. We also play with kids. We go to schools, we have this 3-hour standard, what we call the turtle camps. The kids look forward to the turtle camps. Even the teachers ask us, when are you going to come back to my school again? But we need resources to do this, right? So yeah, so every year we were only able to conduct about 20 such turtle camps. Yeah, and then I realized that we have missed out one layer of the community. We work with the men, and then we play with the kids. What about the women in the local communities? So then I have been cracking my head. I've been thinking, what would attract these women to work together with us, right? So I had no idea, but then I say, we must try, we must start somewhere. So then I started watching YouTube videos. I started learning to make DIY soaps. I started learning to make DIY lotion. And then I taught these ladies how to do it. And then I said, you know what? You can make and sell these things and you can make money. They liked it, but they didn't love it. So then the business project didn't get started. And then after a few months, one of the ladies, she asked me, she said, are you planning any sewing program for us? Sewing activities? Then I was like, you guys want to sew something? Okay. And then we started looking for sponsors, looking for collaborators who would support us, because TCS is a turtle conservation organization. We are not a community or a women empowerment organization. Yeah, so that was totally, out of, I've never done something like this. But then we started talking to people, and then we found a match, and then we found a donor. We discussed the details. These donors agreed to come in and to sponsor 20 sewing machines to the women. Yeah, and they also agreed to sponsor these ladies for a 1-year sewing course, all paid for.
Oh my God, I did not know that.
That is crazy, right? Yeah, so this was a very big milestone to be able to match with such a generous donor. And we took the opportunity to upscale these women. Some of them are interested to sew, but they do not know how to. Some of them have a little bit of skills, but they want to be very good at it. I cannot teach them sewing because I do not sew, right? So that was very nice that, so that was very nice that we were able to enroll them in a sewing course. So the teachers will teach them. Right. And then right now, as we speak, we are working very closely together with 10 women, 10 of these local women to produce turtle batik merchandise. So these are batik, right? Yeah. So we are producing, so we are not just producing the mask, we are also producing a bunch of other stuff. For example, tote bags, like good shopping bag, like on your shoulder bags. And we also have bags for for kids to go to a swimming class. You have like a drawstring and put on your back. And then we also have cosmetic bags, travel bags for your little bottles of shampoo, shampoo, lotion, your little toothbrush, toothpaste. So we do that as well. But in the last year, the mask sold the most, because this was something that everybody needs at least 2 or 3 items of, right? So by sewing these products, we pay them outright for their time and for their workmanship. And then we will sell these products on social media to raise funds.
I love it. I love it.
Right. So from 2 years ago, we were thinking, how do we involve the women? To 2 years later, now we are working with the women. We are developing new products. We are like business partners, like I mentioned earlier, and we are helping to support many little mouths, little kids, especially during the multiple lockdowns that Malaysia is experiencing. You may have read about how the situation in Malaysia looks like it's spinning out of control. A lot of the local villagers, the women, their husbands have lost their jobs as well. So if they had any savings, from last year, those savings would have been exhausted by now. It's been a year. So these projects, it's like somebody's throwing them a life jacket. When you're drowning, somebody's throwing you a life jacket, so you quickly grab it.
That is a beautiful picture.
So what we are doing is, my friends have been saying that, we don't see that many turtle posts on your social media anymore. We see more of this merchandise that you're making, the local villagers are making. And to be very honest, yes, that's what I do these days, but it is very important that we continue doing this, because too many livelihoods are dependent on these things now. Too many people, too many women, and too many children. Yeah, so we are trying to sell as many things as we can so that we bring in the funds. So I can call the women and say, you know what, I want to order more of these products, so please make them. Yeah. So
I think I also think it's beautiful for you, because also what you're talking about with the man's going in the field to take the turtle egg up, and he's coming to the center, correct? And they put them in the sand again.
The sand,
yeah. I think it's so important, and I think it's an important piece to include the community around organizations in the work, because if we want to be successful in the work, as I believe, we get to work with others around the organization to move the message, so they can move others, and they can move others like rain in the water with if they drop
the ripple effect.
Exactly, ripple effects. So a little bit short about, I'm curious about before we're ending, but just short about that. And to you, there's a link to a video. You can just go towards that to get to know this organization. There's a link to the mask and the merchandise. If you choose that, we hope you choose that to support the organization and support the community. Share a little bit about when the man is going in the fields and going to your organizations to put the egg in the sand again, like how is that process around that?
Okay, so the conservation project is about a couple of months long. Okay, so let's start in February. Okay, we'll do this until October. Okay, so let's start from February. In February, these female turtles, they will emerge onto the sandbanks and they will lay their eggs at night. Okay, so what these local villagers do, the terrapin guardians, after dinner at night, about 8 o'clock, they will all go to the sandbank and they will camp out on the sandbank. So we set up a tent like that can last, for 2 months. And every night after dinner, they leave their family, they would go to the sandbank and they will camp out on the sandbank and they will wait for these female turtles to lay eggs. After laying eggs, as the female turtles are going back into the river, they will catch the female turtle. They will put her onto their shoulder and they will take her back to the campsite for us to measure the female. So we want to know how big she gets. We also weigh the females because we want to know how heavy they are. And then we also microchip the terrapins, the females, because we want to individually identify them. So we want to know this female came up this year, or she also came up last year. Oh yeah, you know what? She also came up the year before. How many eggs did she lay? These are the information these are the data that we collect. So it's a long-term monitoring program. And then the next morning, so they do that the whole night from 8:30 until 6 o'clock in the morning. And then by 7, because there's daylight by 7, they will come back to the village. They will plant these eggs into the sand. Yeah, and then we will leave the eggs there for about 3 months. So by May, so we started in February, so it's now May. By May, June, the babies, we call them the hatchlings, the turtle hatchlings. Okay, the turtle hatchlings begin to crawl up onto the sand, onto the surface, right? Very cute. And then we will measure them, we will weigh them, and we will put them into a big pond and we will raise them. So we hire a local villager to change water every day, to feed them and to scrub off, algae from the backs. Yeah, and then he will do this until October. Yeah, so typically in October, we will have a big party. Remember I said we had a big party, a release event, an annual release event where we will have a couple of speeches, some performances, and then all of us will move to the riverbank. We walk or drive our car or motorbikes. We go to the riverbank and we will release these turtles into the river. So that's one cycle of the conservation project. So by October, that part is done. So November, December, that's the raining season here. We get a lot of rain, and in most years we get flooded. In most years, we got flooded this year badly. And then when the floods have gone out, by February, the whole cycle repeats. Yeah. So that is the bread and butter of the Turtle Conservation Society's main project.
How many turtles are you releasing?
So since we started this conservation project 10 years ago, we have saved more than 6,400 eggs. So this is not a lot if you compare it with sea turtles. Sea turtles lay about 100 eggs each time, and in one season they may produce up to 1,000 eggs. That is a lot, right? Yeah. But the terrapins, the freshwater turtles, they only lay between 25 and 35 eggs. That's it.
Oh, then yeah, of course, it's so small turtles compared to like the huge one.
Right, so they don't even lay many eggs.
No.
So each female lays about 25 to 35 eggs. So in the past 10 years, we have saved more than 6,400 eggs from being eaten by local villagers. And of these numbers, I think we have released about 4,000 terrapins into the river. Yeah, so if you talk to a local, villager these days, he probably will tell you that, years ago, when I go into the river to catch, to fish, I didn't see many terrapins, but in recent years, I've seen many terrapins, and big and small. So that was what they told me. Yeah, that was what they told me. So even though we are not successful in catching these terrapins back because they are very fast in the river, they're very fast in the water. No, but when we have fishermen, local villagers telling us this, we pray and hope that the turtles can survive up to perhaps 20 years, and then they will become parents themselves.
Beautiful. What is the last thing you want to share or give to the audience, some nuggets to remember, if there's something you want to leave them with?
I think the world needs more people who speak up on behalf of the environment. Yeah, I know we're all talking about politics all the time because, we cannot run away from it. I agree. But we need more people talking about the environment, talking on behalf of those wildlife that cannot speak for themselves. So for youth who are listening in today, try to look for a mentor. If you are interested to, be involved in the field of conservation, doesn't matter whether it is wildlife or plant conservation or heritage conservation, it doesn't matter. Look for a mentor. Yeah, that mentor will be very critical to the exposure that you get, in your early career. Yeah. Also, volunteer your time, volunteer your services, because that is when you realize that you can contribute. I mentioned earlier that we always want to give. We don't want to be, the person being donated to, like receiving all the time. Yeah, but when you volunteer your time and your services, it is greatly appreciated by especially small non-profit organizations. We appreciate your help all the time. Yeah, and also for young people, because I don't have advice for experienced researchers. Also for young people, graduates and undergraduates, be resourceful. Always, it is 21st century now. There's information in your fingertips, in your phone. Use it, put it to good use, not just scroll social media every day. Be resourceful, look for solutions, be a part of the solution, not a part of the problem. Take initiative. Yeah, so we appreciate such traits in young people these days.
I love that. I will love them. Thank you so much, Pelf.
You're most welcome. No problem.
Pelf, it was a blessing for you to have you in the show, and Thank you so much. It was a really big blessing for me to have you here.
Very, very nice speaking to you, Tanja, and hopefully the audience picks up a little something from the video. And if anybody wants to contact us, you have a page, right? Yeah, you can just look for us online. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
You are most welcome. It was a blessing to talk with you. Very easygoing. I love that. It's just nice. I love that talk here. I love it. So have an amazing day and talk to you soon. And to your audience, go back to your newsletter. There is like all information about the organizations, the workbook and the work file with the 5 action steps, the video to the mask and merchandise is in there. So you have like all the things you need. And please contact the organization. What do you take from this talk, and your feedback? We'll really love it and appreciate it if you choose to share it, because sharing is caring and we need you to share. So thank you so much for watching.
Bye.
Bye everyone.